Welcome everyone to MarkWHO77. That's right, MarkWHO77, the show where we talk all about British comics and 77 publishing. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ben Cullis. Hey, Ben.
Hey Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. For those who watch the show regularly, you'll see one person missing. Vicky is in Disneyland. Woohoo! She's having fun.
Is she
Well,
working there or is she just visiting?
oh no, she's visiting. And actually, as we speak, she's probably driving back. So I hope she had a good time and I gave her the show off so she can, have fun. So Ben, we're doing the show. We've got a great show for everyone. It's all about This Comic is Haunted, isn't it right?
Absolutely. So it's Halloween special.
Ooh.
We're kickstarting on the Friday the 13th. Okay. Woo.
Ooh, and you know what? They're watching this because this is coming out on Friday the 13th, so it's perfect. And guys, if
Great
there are
stuff.
any mistakes or any boo-boos, that's because of the magic going off
That's right.
screwing us
And
up.
we've got the creative force behind it. We've got Dave Healy, otherwise known as the Grey Phantom,
That's
and
right.
his art editor extraordinaire. No, no, he's been on this show many times. Andrew
Yeah,
Richmond. Really
yeah.
looking forward to catching up with these two. We've had a very busy summer, but as we head towards autumn, it's all focused on Haunted. It's going to be a double edition. Dave's really excited about it. He's going to give us a run through. We're going to talk about the Kickstarter. There's some fantastic rewards available. So if you're seeing this on the Kickstarter video, fantastic. Join us later tonight at 8:30 p.m. We're having a pre-launch show and
Yeah.
we'll leave a link on this video.
Sounds like a great idea. All right, so I guess we're going to start. Should we bring them out?
Fantastic.
All right,
Okay, let's see if they're here.
let's see. So, hey, Dave and Andrew, how you guys doing today?
Hi, Mark. Good evening. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Ben. Hi, Andy. Yeah, really good
Hey
here. Thank you.
guys.
Andrew, you look spiffy today. You don't look like you're faded and freezing and stuff. That's really cool.
I think,
Last episode,
yeah, I think we've put an extra pound coin into our meter,
that's
our
cool.
Wi-Fi meter. Maybe crank the handle a little bit down in the West Country.
All right.
Um, it wasn't the last time we were on the show.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
dropping in and out.
Let's get right to it. Let's talk This Comic is Haunted for why don't we go to Dave, the editor? Dave, tell us a little about This Comic is Haunted for the
Yeah, sure.
Halloween
There's been
special.
a there's been a it's been a bit of a while since issue three. This comic is haunted has always sold really well. It's been incredibly popular, and the feedback's been fantastic. But the one biggest bit of feedback we had from it was that the stories weren't long enough. So we had a choice of continuing with the 6 monthly biannual format or going huge for Halloween. And that's what we've done this time. So this Halloween is Haunted will be coming out. It's going to be over 60 pages. It's going to be a flip book as well. We've decided to do it in an interesting fashion, thanks to the amazing art editor and my right-hand man, Andy.
Doing the,
So we're going to have basically two covers with stories connecting in the middle with a wonderful story by Andy and Dave Thomas. Joining it all together. So
Dave,
yeah,
who's
I'm
done the
really looking
covers,
forward
mate?
to it.
Who's done the covers? Because we're going to show them right
Yeah,
now.
the primary cover is by Simon Hall, who's did the variant cover for issue three, an absolutely fantastic artist. But he basically asked me what I wanted, and I said I'd like something reminiscent of The Evil Dead and something reminiscent of Fright Night, and he's just absolutely blown it away. I think it's the best thing that I've ever had a part in anyway. And for the reverse cover, we've got Diseased Mind. That's James Fletcher. His artwork that appeared on a glow in the dark green t-shirt designed from issue two of This Comic is Haunted as well.
Mm.
So the two
That was
together
a
look
very
just
limited
absolutely
edition
beautiful.
T-shirt, wasn't it? I think if I know right, if I'm right, Dave, that's coming out as one of the special rewards as well. People can
Yeah,
pre-order that T-shirt.
absolutely. It's that limited. I actually had it taken off my back at Lawless 2 years ago. Someone begged me for it, so I
I think
actually
I saw
risked
them
it for
wearing
them.
it, and you hadn't even washed it, if I
Well,
remember correctly.
that's on them. That wasn't on me. It was clean that day. That's
Well,
all
if
I
they're
can say.
watching, maybe they'll message us.
But it was very
it
popular.
was
Dave, I
screaming
have a
out to
question.
use the cover. Yeah, screaming out to use the cover. So
So, Andy, what does Dave mean by a flip book? Because you're the art editor, so do you want to give
Right.
us a little bit of info on
Let's
that?
talk
So
about
we're
that.
gonna. I'm not. I'm trying to think of the references. I'm not sure where we've got it from. We basically start with our normal cover. We have
Mhm.
30 odd pages.
Mhm.
What we're doing is we've got myself and David have written a Grey Phantom Haunted History that you get. That's sort of the end of the first comic, but then you open it up to the center spread, and it's got a poem, a lost Lovecraft poem that David and I have created in a full psychedelic color.
Oh.
But it reads one way and then sort of stops, and you have to then spin it and you carry on. But you then go to the front, turn it over, you've got Diseased Minds cover, 30 stories, another Grey Phantom black and white, and you open it and you've got the poem, but right way up. So
Okay.
it's
I have a question. I have a question about this.
a go.
Because I know that, when we, the perks and stuff, they're a digital copy, right? There's gonna be a digital copy available. Um, are you gonna, I mean, I'm only going because I want to be funny here. Are you gonna have the second half of the page upside down in the digital copy?
You're
And
gonna have to flip your phone.
and then when you
Yeah,
try,
you
no,
have to
but when
flip
you
your phone
flip your
around.
when you flip your tablet, the picture flips. So you'll
No,
have to,
no,
you'll
we
have to read it upside down.
But damn it, you can't get it the right way around. It keeps
Right.
flipping.
And that's where I'm going with this.
like
So,
Keith Richards, you have to hang upside down, or like
okay.
the count.
Okay.
That's right.
So
It's
it's the
for
digital
people hanging
copy.
upside down.
The
I
digital
think
copy is the Dracula version. The digital
we
copy.
Or
might
is it
do
the Falling
That's
Tarot
right, yeah.
cards is upside down as well? That's
we
what
might
I'm
do
thinking.
the
Through
authentic.
the magic of Transylvania, we will get it working.
I think you'll have the authentic version and then potentially the
Yeah.
reader's version.
So
Thank
we've
you.
also got as well, Mark, I'm just going to chip in here because we're going to do this bit, going to the artwork as well. We've got some incredible, so this artwork you mentioned on the cover, I'm going to a con on Saturday, the where are we? 14th
Mhm.
at Bedford. And is it right that I'm going to be picking up some amazing artwork, which is going to
Yeah,
be an exclusive
Simon
reward?
has messaged me earlier and he said he'd love for us to be able to sell it via the Kickstarter. So one
That's
of our lucky
incredible.
readers will be able to own that. And it may well be me because I think it's just absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. It's like-
So if you're watching this just prior to the Kickstarter, be aware we've got a launch event. We're going to be previewing this stuff. You're going to be able to see it. You can join us on a call. And if you go to the Kickstarter at that point, you'll see it there. And there's only one of these, so you have to be quick. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's besides all the other fantastic pieces of artwork we have available. I believe Ian Stopfus donating a lot of the artwork from his story. He's literally doing 12 pages of fully painted artwork in this issue
Yeah.
over 2 stories. There's going to be A5 ACO cards, various sketches been offered as well. The usual thing. It's something that the 77 Publishing do every single time, and it's always incredibly popular. But there's always people out there who might not know that we do this. And yeah, I can highly recommend
Well,
getting in
and
early.
Dave, that's why I think when we chatted about the Kickstarter, we wanted to make sure that people coming new to this will also be able to get, whether it's digital or the print format. The bundles are going to be like just great value, aren't they? So people can come
Oh yeah,
in.
we always massively discount the bundles because we want people to buy our latest product, and then those who've never had it before can just get the whole thing together. And especially with the digital files, they can just literally get it instantaneously as soon as the Kickstarter's ready to publish.
So when do you think that the backers are going to get their copies, Dave? What's your feeling about that?
Well, I mean, the anticipation is Halloween, obviously. There's no reason why there can't be. I've got a hell of a lot of the artwork already in, and the stuff I'm waiting from are people who are very trustworthy. So I would anticipate us going to print roughly the end of the first week of October, perhaps, which would get us it all in and out in time for Halloween. So yeah, absolutely.
Now I've read the entire 77 publishing library, and I gotta say everything has been amazing. So guys, if you want a great horror anthology, don't run out, but go to the Kickstarter campaign and get this book. Isn't that right, guys?
Yeah, and the thing is as well, we do cater to everyone's taste because myself and Andy are massive fans of classic horror, but also I'd like to think modern horror as well. I've been watching it all day long today on my day off. And so you do have a situation where in the comic we have got classic black and white strips, we've got absolutely eye-popping color strips. There's everything you can imagine. We don't just follow to just a strict genre. You've got classic horror, you've got modern slasher horror, everything that you could imagine. If you're into horror, everything is catered for there.
But we've also got this crazy exploitation idea of flipping the book. So it's sort of like a William Castle kind of a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that because like people are going to pick it up and just like go, oh, okay. And it's like,
Yeah.
how do we do this?
And the
Yeah.
fact is
And
double.
I think it's fair, isn't it? Because what we're doing here is you get two covers,
Yeah.
but because it's going to have it's going to attract, because of the double size of it, it's going to attract a slightly higher price than we have previously. I don't think there was the need for us to feel like we wanted to push variant covers because you're getting two
And
covers.
that's why we've had the two covers on it, but obviously it's
Yeah.
much easier. Plus, as well as that, while it's more expensive than a single issue, I think it still works out cheaper than two issues together. So
Oh,
I think you know, I think
Yeah.
there's plenty of value in amongst that, and I'm hoping with the amount of pages we've got, we'll be able to get perfect bound as well. So it will
Yeah.
sit nicely on your
Dave, I have a
shelves
question.
as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fantastic. And the repros we've always had of all the issues that we've ever done have always come out so glossy and really really looking fantastic. And Andy does an amazing job at editing the art, so it's going to be great.
Oh,
Dave, I
just
have
to
a
check.
question.
So it
I
is
have a
it's
question.
standard oversize as well. Sorry.
Standard
But
that's
standard
right.
oversize for British fans. It's going to be the same size as 2000 AD. American and
Right.
European fans, metal hurlant and heavy metal.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask Dave a question. Because it's double-sided, do we have more stories or longer stories?
I would, yeah, much longer stories.
Good.
The average story length will be between 8 and 10 pages. We've got a few little one shot 4 pages or so on, but yeah, there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more bang for your buck, which is what some people had asked for continually over the years with us. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Do we have the continuing story of Drummer from Hell? Because that's like my favorite.
Still waiting on Alan for that,
Oh,
unfortunately. When Alan is well enough or back from his travels and
ah,
sends us the script in, we will get straight onto it. Yeah.
okay. Okay. But it's still planned on.
It's not cancelled. Anything that's been
Okay.
in before is not cancelled. It's all a
Excellent.
matter of sort
Excellent.
of juggling people's times. Obviously, with the 77 publishing, a lot of the people who work for us are complete freelancers and they are working full time in other jobs, raising families and so on and so forth. So therefore, we're all dependent on their time. And a lot of our creators are also of a vintage age as well, who don't have perhaps the time that some of us young whippersnappers might have.
Who is contributing to this issue? What do we have to look forward to?
Well, we have Ian Stopforth and Joe Healy, my sister, continuing with the Horace Moss Investigates the Screaming Skull. That will
Yeah.
conclude in that. That's 10 pages of Ian Stopforth fully painted art,
Yeah.
and I've seen it and it's just absolutely
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got some lovely strips by new writers to the publishing house. We've got a strip by Mark Spencer and Age Hughes, which is really interesting. We've got another strip that's drawn by Age Hughes, which is written by newcomer Alexis Savage, which is going to be interesting. That'll be an ongoing story. That's Amy Kane. That's going to be a sort of Lovecraftian cosmic horror story. We've got some fantastic Damien Edwardson art by Craig Douglasson, another newcomer to the 77 stable. And that's just blown me away completely. We've got two self-contained Van Helsing stories by John Short and Adam Jakes, which are real fun. We've got Gary Burley and Dan Pollard continuing with The Hand of God. We've got obviously Andy and Dave Thomas's beautiful mosaic in the middle. It's going to tie everything together. We've also got a strip written by myself that I'm really looking forward to. I've been trying to get it published for many years, and it's finally come together. And that's El Hombre Sin Alma, and that's The Man with No Soul,
I'm
and
gonna put
that's
that on the screen right
spaghetti
now.
western gothic horror story. So, and it's actually written by Giuseppe D'Elia, who's Italian, and he's over the moon to be able to draw something spaghetti western. And I've just had the final art come in for it today, and it's mind blowing.
You just did
It's the best thing I've had come through for me so
And
far.
apparently, this is going to fit in 60 pages.
60 pages.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 60 pages.
Okay.
It is
Like
a
a
double-sided
target.
issue. Like I say, there's a lot of bang for your buck there.
Good. Excellent.
As the
Andrew.
publisher, I'm freaking out if you're saying it might be more than 60 pages. As long as it goes up in 4s, we don't mind.
Exactly. That's where adverts come in.
Andrew, will you be doing lettering in this? Because I noticed, in the last few issues, you've been listed as letterer.
Yeah, of course.
Hope so.
Yeah, that's part of what I do.
So you have fun with it.
Yeah, no, what is fun is getting the mag ready and off to print, the comic ready and off to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lettering is an important part and it's integral. But a lot of the time, though, the artists do allow for the lettering, but then we do get half of it in finished. So sometimes I end up coloring them as well, or adding special effects and bits and pieces. So it's not.
Give us a
just...
technical piece of advice here, then, Andy, with regards to, for example, if an artist this is not necessarily with our productions, but someone who's thinking about, how they go about doing this kind of thing. Do you want to discuss very briefly layering and effects layering and lettering and coloring just within a minute, if you can ever just do that for a minute?
The important thing to realize is when you start drawing a comic, you have to look at the script and allow where the writer says text, balloon, whatever. And if you leave that, and then when you come to pencil it and ink it, it's already there. I mean, when I do mine, I often letter it first. So I've got all the lettering in, and then I'll add the pencils and inks and colors. So as Ben says, it's layering. And then you can go in and tweak it all. So I've got files with everything on that's all live text, live imagery. A lot of my art myself is created on the iPad, and I can then export it, stick it on, and if the lettering's not working, I can adjust it, clean it up a little bit.
So as perspective as a art editor, what type of files do you more prefer to receive the work on? Is it TIFFs or PNGs or CYMKs or?
It's great to get them in as TIFFs. A lot of the artists send them as 600 DPI. We don't print at 600 DPI. The printers don't print at that, but it's a good practice to get into because it means your art is big and crisp. But then what we often have to do is reduce it down and ready for print. So 300 DPI at print size with bleed added is always preferable. Cool. But yeah, JPEGs, TIFFs, PNGs, I've had them all. Used to be bitmaps. People used to love sending bitmaps years ago, which I think someone just said, use a bitmap, and people copied. But yeah, PDFs. I've had some artwork sent in as PDFs. We can just strip them out. I've got all the kit to do that. We add bleed a lot of the time as well. So sometimes the artwork is sent in without what we call bleed. So you need to add a little bit of extra top and bottom, 5mm. It's very interesting, Ben.
And that's to do with the printing registration and then the cut, the actual physical cut
also,
of the paper.
Sometimes we get things, we have to change the proportion from American format to our 77 format. So sometimes to add bleed or try and recreate this. When I was doing,
blaming me, are you blaming my people right here for a different format? Are you blaming me?
Well, we are getting more and more submissions from the colonies. So it's
there you go. That's my peeps. Yeah.
I was going to say when we did Penny Pentagram, I took pages from the 77 and I had to reformat it to American format.
Yeah.
Which just shuffle it all around and give it a good little tidying. But yeah, it's all the fun. All the fun of the fair, and it's often added to the fact that the printers going, can we have those PDFs now? And we're like, well, we just got the artwork in and I've got to letter it. And I think we need to color it as well. And it's Monday morning. Or Sunday night.
Dave, it's quite a short Kickstarter, this.
Yeah, I think we're just going 3 weeks, aren't we?
3 weeks?
17 days. 17
17
days.
days.
2
Less.
weeks and over 3 weekends. It's just
It's all
because
we
of the
need.
deadline.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this for the first time and it's getting towards, where are we? So we start on the 13th. If you're around the 27th and 28th of September, you only got a day or two to get your pledges in. So don't leave it past that.
Yeah.
Although, of course, all
once you get your payday, get in there.
Yeah, it's going payday. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
hope everyone's noticed our launch date as well, which is
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. Yeah. Do you want to take bets on how many, what percentage will hit within 2 hours?
Don't know, but we always do 125%. I don't know why. 125 is like a typical thing. I think, well, I can tell you, I'll let Dave and Andy go with a percentage in the first 2 hours, then I'll say my bit afterwards.
What do you guys think? Because I know in the launch party, we're always like, we're taking bets. Let's preempt those bets. Let's get them out now. What do you think, Andrew?
Middle of the month, so I am always happy with if anything around 50% is amazing within 2 hours.
Yeah, within 2, and it's been done. It's been done with this.
We've never failed on a Kickstarter yet.
Yeah, no, you haven't.
And I don't plan on starting now.
What kind of perks we're talking? What kind of perks for this?
Books, T-shirts, ACO cards, limited edition, single black and white, single character, sketches, artwork, cover artwork, pints of blood from Dave. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, well, the pints of blood, that's important.
Everything you can imagine.
Mine have little vials.
Oh, yeah.
Vial of blood.
I wouldn't drink it, though.
No.
The little pinky. There we go.
Yeah.
You're quilling it.
All right. Well, I am so excited about this book, and I can't wait. Guys, if you're watching, definitely support the group, support 77 Publishing, and get this book. This Comic is Haunted, issue 4, the flip book. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys. Any last words about This Comic is Haunted?
Any last words? This sounds rather daunting.
I just want to thank everyone who does back us, and if you keep pledging, we'll keep producing.
Well, I cannot wait to read This Comic is Haunted 4. It looks like it's gonna be really great. Guys, if you're still watching me right now, you're on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, we've got a lot more in store for you, right, Ben?
Absolutely. We're going to be discussing what else we're doing with the 77 as we go from autumn through to the new year. We've got a whole load of events lined up. We're going to be doing personal appearances. We've got some really big shows, exciting people we're going to be working with, new publications, and we'd also like to discuss as well something which is very important for us as fans of 2000 AD. They've got a milestone comic coming up.
Yeah.
An exciting period of time for them. They're relaunching some strips which are going to be really, really exciting to keep an eye on. And we want to discuss a little bit about our Facebook group, the 77 to 2000 AD, which also had a milestone in the last few weeks. So
yes, it did. Yes, it did. So why don't we bring back Dave and Andrew and talk about this?
That's great. Let's do that.
One of the big things that I wanted to talk about, I know we all want to talk about, is issue 2400 of 2000 AD, right, Ben?
Absolutely. I mean, the hundreds, when the comic first started, were big kind of celebratory events.
Yeah.
I haven't really been aware of one that Thargs mentioned since possibly Prog 2000, which had the Iwo Jima Brian Bolland cover, the very famous flag one. But a lot's been made by Rebellion in the last few weeks about a build-up. It's definitely a stepping on prog, and or jumping on. And I think basically they're going for a bit of a kind of cross story with a lot of different strips, but reintroducing Rogue Trooper. And I don't know whether it's got anything to do. And the guys, I'll be interested to know what you think, because of course there's been quite a lot of news in the last week dropped about the Rogue Trooper film, and I don't know whether this is a tie-in at all. So it's very interesting. But
what I find fascinating, because this is going to be tied, this book and Judge Dredd magazine 472 are the whole thing, and they both come out on the same day, September 18th. And all hail the Norts. That's all I can say, because It's, if I'm correct about the storyline, the Norts have invaded everywhere. So Judge Dredd has to fight the Norts, and Rogue Trooper and Fiends of the Eastern Front, Bad Company, everybody,
Yeah.
and it's all. But I was, they've done this a few times. They did the
Well, they've
battle
done it with the
action.
zombie issue, didn't they?
They
Like a
did the
year or
zombie issue,
so
which I
back.
love. I love the zombie.
Yeah.
They did the battle action
Yeah.
two thing, and now they're doing this. They do a lot of these things now. I really enjoy
I mean,
where
you
they
know,
tie them
all of
together.
us involved here are fans of 2000 AD. We're all, in some respects, publishing and working on products. If you've got such a great amount of IP that the Rebellion have,
Mhm.
it kind of makes sense to bring everybody together. It's a kind of,
Yeah,
millennium.
it's
Or
obviously
whatever.
it's part of the zeitgeist now, isn't it? Marvel have shown that multiverse can work on a cinematic level, so
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer to bring it into the comics. And I think, as Ben alluded to earlier, it's clearly it's not tied. I don't think it's tied in any way to the film, but they're definitely bringing Rogue Trooper back to the forefront of the stable of 2000 AD characters, up there with your Judge Dredds and your Strontium Dogs, etc. Which is sort of Rogue Trooper over the last few years has been kind of a periphery character. I know that Garth Ennis brought him back last year, but it's certainly a big push now, and it makes sense tying in with the movie as well because it's going to introduce a lot more people to the prog.
In fact, Garth Ennis and Patrick Goddard's Rogue Trooper starts the next issue in 2401. So 2400 looks like it's a great starting point, a jumping on point.
Mm. But I
I
think that crossover between, for example, the was it Charlie's War they did as well back from the I'm just trying to think of the previous run that both of them had, or not
right.
Charlie's War, the action strip that they were doing
Mhm.
a couple of years ago. I remember speaking to Patrick at Lawless, but it's the point of taking things across different time zones as well and bringing new era events in and stuff. And I think Rogue Trooper is fascinating in that, if it goes across the Norths, I don't know if Rogue's going to be only a small part of that,
Mhm.
or whether there's going to, then have his own story coming through. So they're going to have what, two strips at the time. I'm not necessarily up on the promo stuff at the moment. I mean, I literally buy the comic as it comes out. I don't like the spoilers, and I hope, sorry if anyone's watching this, any spoilers.
No,
We're only
I don't
following
think
what's
we
being.
gave any spoilers. We just said who's involved. We didn't say
Yeah,
anything. I don't think we gave anything away that they haven't put out there.
yeah. I mean, I'm for one. I mean, listen, you know, I've been waiting for the Rogue film for ages, just like everybody else, and I'm fascinated to get an idea really now, as you start to see the talent that's involved in it. It's going to be quite an interesting visual experience as well. And you go to the cinema, people have said, "Oh, it's just voice talent," but they are being, captured, and there's going to be it's going to be a new level of animation with it. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I like the people that seem to be involved. Haley Atwell is
Mm.
going to be a part of it. And who else? Matt Berry, if you like What We Do in Shadows, he's in
Yeah,
it.
Reece Shearsmith.
Uh,
I mean, it's a fantastic cast.
yeah,
I think the
Jermaine
interesting
Clement.
thing about Rogue Trooper for me, growing up, I always assumed of Rogue Trooper as a very American style thing. And now looking at it now, the cast is mainly British, and it's going to be
Yeah.
quite interesting to see how
It's
they do that.
Yorkshire, isn't it? It's Yorkshire.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got Sean Bean in it, Sean Bean,
Yeah.
and
I see
you've
people are
got
saying,
Jack
how long is he
Logan,
going to
Jack
last?
Flowers.
I'm betting.
Yeah, there's some.
I'm betting that that Reese Shearsmith, Jermaine Clement, and Matt Berry are going to be Gunner Helmet, and
I
I'm
think
just
Reece
going, I'm
Shearsmith is
just putting
definitely
it out.
Bagman, as far as I'm aware. I saw that, but
Which is
as to
more of
the
the comedic character within those three? Is it Bagman is the or Gunner is the Joker? I can't remember which one is
yeah,
up. And then there's also the two characters, the bowlered hat characters, the two
Yeah,
British
yeah.
characters as well. So I think it's going to have some lighter moments in it.
yeah,
But let's be honest with you, the preface in terms of where the action is set is a pretty grim
yeah.
environment, isn't it? Unbreathable air, everything is trying to kill you. It's
And for people complaining about animation, well, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is
There
as
you
good a
go.
film as
It was
anything
one of their
Marvel
biggest
have
successful
produced.
films,
So
wasn't
it can be done,
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
So I wish it all the best.
me too. I'm very, very excited about that.
So
Okay,
hey, yeah, so that was 2000 AD, Mark, wasn't it? 2400.
yeah,
And can I do a bit of self self-promotion here because myself and Dave are admins.
100%.
We are admins. We've been beavering away together since 2017. You were I think only my third admin, Dave. To be honest, we joined forces in 2017, like Tornado and 2000 AD, you know. I won't say who was who.
I'd rather Star-Lord than Tornado, if that's okay. But
yeah, I think in those days we could count the members on 500 fingers. I think that was about right.
I remember the 500 men, but yeah.
So what was our most recent milestone then, Dave? Come on.
We hit 25,000, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
you know,
we're welcoming 50 people a day at the moment.
It's pretty. I think that it's wonderful. I mean, when you look at 2000 AD, might be down to about 10,000 a week now, which is still brilliant figures. But to have 25,000 people actually, getting involved. I mean, I remember when I first come on as admin, we had to sort of like really push our own posts constantly. We had to do something every day, and now it's literally you just like.
You kind of catch up, aren't you?
Yeah. Your own posts get lost in it, so you're constantly trying to sort of like not so much police, but just sort of follow the conversation that's going on from everyone else. And
I think what's great about the group as well, Dave, and I'm sure you'd second this, is that we've remained public, and to do that, we have to have certain safeguards in place in terms of not the caliber of the member. That's not what we're talking about. But you have to jump through some hoops, and you have to behave, and you have to be respectful. And I think that's been the whole. And Steve Bull's been a huge part of all of that kind of thing, and your sister Jo as well. Just making it a really worthwhile place to go and check out on Facebook if you love 2000 AD and British sci-fi, really. So
yeah, I mean, I know that a certain percentage of the population complain about safe spaces and so on, but I'd like to think that it is a safe space for 2000 AD fans. We don't tolerate homophobia, racism, or transphobia there in the slightest, or any kind of prejudice, because at the end of the day, we're not on social media for that. If you want to go and do that, go and do it in some dark corner of the web. It's fine. I couldn't care less.
It's good when the mods do step in and you do like, guys, just be respectful.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the fans don't realize, but don't appreciate the vast majority of the 2000 AD creators are actually members, and they do actually comment and they do see it.
Yeah.
And when someone comes along and says, "I hate this, and this person," without genuine reason, we have to step in, because there's you wouldn't accept it walking down the street, and I don't think you have a right. I don't think you should have to accept it online either.
And they say, I hate such as version of Judge Dredd. It's like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, and I think, Dave, you coined this thing about the fact is that we need to make these people understand how much they are loved while they're still here. There's not much point.
Yeah, we've lost so many over the last few years. It's just,
I got to say something about the page. The fact that you keep it friendly and all that stuff. And I'm going to bring it to Doctor Who. God, the Doctor Who groups. Oh my God. Some of them are so, I don't want to say it's vile. I mean, they're just people, and I belong to some of the good ones that are make sure you're like yours, but I also belong to some of the ones that are open, and I'm glad that you run the 77 to 2000 AD the way you do. I really am.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Alienverse, and the fandom is just toxic. It's like, you get, for every one post you see that someone's praising something, it's sort of 10 people just slagging something off because that particular piece of media is not designed entirely at them, and life doesn't work like that.
No. So what we've been doing this the last few months, obviously, in terms of working towards the 25,000, we've obviously started using the group as, it's our group. And we call it the 77 to 2000 AD. In fact, Dave, I was wearing the original comic at the con I did at the weekend.
Oh wow, yeah.
The very t-shirt, from the comic and such like. And we do now say, look, we are publishing Ian Gibson's book. Yeah. That we do have other titles out as well. We're going to be doing something with Pat Mills later on. Steve McManus works with us. Other creators as well. I'm trying to ad-libbing here, but Glenn Fabry's put work in. Alan Hebden, as you mentioned, Mark, today earlier.
Lee Milmore, Mike Walters.
Mike Walters, breakthrough the last 18 months, yeah.
And Andy Parkhurst is one of our biggest contributors in terms of lettering.
Yeah.
we have a large amount of 2000 AD creators.
But
Yeah.
it's not just Ian Gibson. You had John Wagner and Robin Smith were contributed. They
Yeah,
did
we published them. It was amazing.
Yeah, the Bogeyman. Yeah. So what
Bogeyman.
we did on our, so we just want to reach out because we've still got 2 unclaimed prizes. We did a prize draw. So well done to John Baverton, well known through Lawless Convention. John's had his ups and downs this year, and I was so pleased that his name literally came out of the hat. And he won himself the Fish Collectible 1/6 scale Strontium Dog statue, which is an awesome prize.
Wow.
So John has said he's very happy with that, which is amazing. But I want people to just check the posts, which we've got still on the features, because we still named 4 other people who came in and got hard and soft back editions of some books, and only 2 have noticed that they've been linked to that. But you know, it's a plug. Go to the 77 comic.net for our shop, and basically you'll see the titles that Mark's just mentioned there about, you know, other people's work and such like, as well as all the 77 publications. And we've got, I'm saying it's so great having Andy on here, because Andy works with Steve McManus on Blazer. Perhaps you want to say, Andy, what it's like working with TMO, with Action Man, if you want, because you work with him on Blazer as well.
It's a crazy one, because if I was a younger man, you'd be like, oh my God, it really is Tharg. But because we're all now we're of an age, and he's a lovely guy.
He really is.
Yeah, he really is, and it's fantastic. I think also because we work so fast, you don't have time to sit back and think. I've just worked with a guy that was signing the chitties for Alan Moore's different future shocks and stuff, and approving everything, get it all in.
Well, the guy who hired Bisley, the guy who hired McCarthy, the guy who hired
Glenn Fabry.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, writing for Blazer and having feedback off Steve, it's just like, wow. I always say to my partner, who's absolutely not into comics whatsoever in any stretch, I always say that working with people like that is like working with the Beatles for me. When I met Steve McManus, it was like meeting Paul McCartney. And then when you become friends with them, it's crazy. And then you get other people go to you, well, how are you friends with Steve McManus? How do you find it? And I'm like, well, he's just a mate. It's great. But coming into it, it's just like blows your mind. And I think there's sort of certain stages of sort of imposter syndrome. You start off thinking, oh, no, I shouldn't be here at all. Then it's like, this is a bit better. And then you get to like where we are now, like Andy just said, that you're producing so much stuff you don't even have time to think about it.
Yeah,
you know, like we're publishing Pat Mills this year, which for me is my favorite writer of all time.
Oh, yeah,
and it's just like a highlight. But it's still something we've got to do, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So we're not necessarily dropping an awful lot of information about this Kickstarter, but Pat and Lisa Mills have set up a Kickstarter. We'll even drop in the credits and the YouTube channel. We will leave a link there. But if people are aware of Shah, the work that he did a while back, it's been recollected. Pat's writing some new material for it. There's going to be some extra stuff in it. It's coming out in deluxe hardback. And as Dave said, I think in between, I think we're doing, let me see now, we're doing Haunted next as a Kickstarter, then probably Lowell's, then possibly another Penny fitting in, then a 77, and Pat's is running along them because it's his own Kickstarter account. We're going to be promoting it, marketing it, and doing that and fulfilling it. But that's it's just nuts, isn't it? When you realize. But there again, I've got to answer Pat's emails and searching questions about when's this being done and this and that. Wow, you've got to do the stuff now.
We're going to have Pat on the show, aren't we?
Wow. We're having Pat on the show. Yeah, absolutely.
Bucket list. Yes, another one. Good. Okay.
Pat and Lisa.
Okay, cool. All right. Why don't we talk a little, because Andrew's here, about Penny Pentagram issue 1, because the Kickstarter was a success.
Yeah, we hit our target.
What is going on, Andrew?
So it's off with the printers. Ben's going to be doing the fulfillment, hopefully.
Yeah. I think we'll be looking at the books getting back to me the end of next week.
Yeah.
So around the 20th of September, and it'll be out before, well, around about the end of September, first week of October.
David Thomas has written the first draft for the second one. He's going to be submitting that to us end of this week. And I'll hopefully be starting the second issue next week. We've got the 2 variant covers on that one. G. Margetts, that did the original cover, the one with all the characters on, has offered the artwork for the next Kickstarter. Touch wood. So that's and it's a beautiful,
very generous
big drawing, really gorgeous black and white pencil drawing. And we've got Stephen Reed on the second cover. It all came together nicely, and onwards and upwards, and the second one will be better.
People need to realise as well, Penny Pentagram will be available on the Haunted Kickstarter as well as an add-on, I'm sure. But also, it will be available very shortly from the 77comic.net, which is our online shop where you can pick up everything that's not currently kickstarting now.
I'm gonna bring something up that isn't scheduled for this. I'm gonna put Ben on the spot. What's going on with Diamond Publications? What's any updates?
Well, I was in touch with their UK representative, Carl Brand, today. Basically, Lifeboat has sailed across the Atlantic, and as well as being in good bookstores in the UK, is now available. We've got great sales, very, very good sales. So Luke Gibson, Ian's son, will be benefiting from that, as he is now the heir, if you like, to Ian's work. He's working with us with regards to book 2. Steve has assured me that book 2 will be out in 25, and the artist has been confirmed. We're just waiting for a promotional period of time we can actually effectively get the name out. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna. This isn't the show to discuss that necessarily, I'm afraid. You're trying to get me to say stuff, aren't you?
I'm trying. Yeah, I am. Because I knew these conversations had just happened. I just in my mind said,
So also with Diamond as well, we've repackaged. What we're doing now is we've repackaged the first 3 77s down to 32-page comics, and they will be hitting the newsstands as a 12-book series. I think the number 1 will be hitting the shelves in October or November. We're going to be re-editing and reissuing those. They're slightly shortened versions, so some strips will be appearing, and other people have asked if they could have their strips they can maintain in themselves and bring out their own work based upon it. So, we have to respect that. As Dave mentioned, it's working with freelancers, and we have rights to some things, but we haven't secured reprint rights on everything. The publishing world is, and this is why Pat Mills is looking to republish Shah and other well-known books when rights become available. So that's Diamond. I can have a conversation with guys about rights as well, because it's to do with our autumn schedule up at the Lakes International. But I didn't know if, Andy, you wanted to just have a final word about Penny before we swap over to saying what the 77 is going to be doing this autumn.
No, I think we've covered it. As we're saying, it's going to be still the 4 issues. We're hoping to get them done in the next year. But as Dave said, we've all got our families. We've got jobs and everything. We're so passionate about this. We try and get it to do the best we can.
Will Penny Pentagram be coming on to Diamond? Will that be something published?
Well, can I explain then? Because this isn't a conversation I've had with Andy, so we need to have a conversation about the whole thing. But my impression, what I think we should do, is we should offer it to Diamond for US when 1, 2, and 3 are in the bag, giving them enough time to do number 4, so that can come online. So they're a third of the way to it. As soon as number 2's in, they're 2/3 of the way. They just need one more book, and then so Diamond operate 3 months out. I don't think it's fair if I said to Andy, by the way, Diamond would like to have number 1 in January, which means you need to have 2, 3, and 4 ready by April. Do you see what I'm saying? That's not. I mean, you can. He's smiling. He's not. He's going, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
I reckon he could do it.
He could do it. That's the problem.
Yes, I know, but I still think that your wife would like to see you occasionally and stuff like that.
There is that. There is that.
You know that
She's
daughter of yours, she's growing up fast, yeah. So you know,
She is. She's 3 next month.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So if you're right, mate, we'll move on a little bit then to the 77 or 77 publishing. So I alluded to a schedule, but there's a whole load of events and cons. So through the year, I met up with Dave and Andy, as we do, down at Lawless.
Yeah,
Which was fantastic in May, and we had a show about that with Sue, and we've actually had various shows talking about that. It's always a great one. Vicky came over, amazing.
I
Maybe
know,
not
I know. I got to
taking a
somehow.
stamp on its head next year and coming. But the season's run on, and I'm going to be. I was at a very. It's amazing. Some of these little shows you go to, you just don't know what you're going to find. I went to Spalding, which is someplace in the Fens, and it was like one of my busiest shows. Great. So that's September started. The coming week, I'm going to be going to Bedford. So the weekend of the launch of Haunted, Haunted launches on Friday. I'm going to go to Bedford Con. It's a 2-dayer called TBC, to be confirmed. It used to be called Bedford Nice, run by Jeff Jahal and the good guys over in Bedford. Are going to be a whole host of amazing talents turning up. Then I'm going to be coming down. Andy, I've got an invite for you. You can have a free table if you want at the end of September. Okay. So Bav and his guys are putting on another show at Lawless. So I'll be in touch with you about that. And then Dave and I, oh no, you're not doing LICAF, are you, Dave?
I'm not doing LICAF now.
No, so LICAF's at the end of September. Then we're meeting up in 6 weeks later at Thought Bubble, aren't we?
Yeah, which is about November the 11th, around about then, I think.
Something like that, middle of November. And I was just going to say, so mentioned about rights and LICAF, the Lakes International is held at Bowness on Windermere. It's a great show, scenic backdrop that you could just die for. And a great enthusiastic kind of event where you get quite a different international flavor with it. And married with that is basically they're bringing over 9 of the largest publishers, including we've got Puffin, Hodder, some big people are coming over, and the French and German and it's Spanish publishers. And 77 Publishing have got now 9 meetings lined up to discuss our work. So, wow, I'll have something to discuss potentially in the new year about that. And then, yeah, we're doing Thought Bubble, which is Harrogate, and it's kind of traditionally it's our end of year show, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. And there we'll be having for sale Penny Pentagram issue 1 and the latest This Comic is Haunted as well.
And
Absolutely.
also in on the 21st of September, there's a lovely little event that I attend that I get invited to every year or every 6 months in Taunton Library, and it's to promote literacy amongst children. Run by Mike Allwood, who put on the Bristol Con for years and years and did the last one last year. And myself and Jo Healy, Dave's sister, are going to have some 77 bits and pieces and my own bits and bobs.
Fantastic.
It's it was the last one we put on, or Mike put on. We had David Roach came as a guest, Simon Furman, and they were just sat there in a little back room of a library, with the kids coming from football or going to Lego Club and
Amazing.
chatting comics. And I'll be doing a workshop of just how to draw.
Yeah, so you're doing that. Are you doing a kind of how to draw or how to do comics page sort of thing?
A couple of them. I've done 3. It's been a third one. The first one was how to do a mini comic. Second one was to draw a robot. And this one, I've just put some very simple pages together, blanks, that I'm going to get the kids to just write their own stories and under guidance. And it's always great fun. And there's prizes for every single entry.
Wow.
Andy, so basically, as well as all of the work that you do, because you are a professional editor with regards to lifestyle magazines and other such things, you're doing Blazer, you're doing Lols, you're doing Haunted. It's a great amount of work that you do, and basically you're doing all of your own cartooning as well. So I just wanted to sort of say, how do you manage to find the time? You haven't got very much time to mention how you do it, but it's much appreciated that you're doing all this for the 77. And
shall I show you how I do it? See that? I chose very well.
Oh,
I chose a very good woman that's very supportive and is incredibly creative as well.
I think Dave will say the same thing. I will, and I'll leave Mark to his own counsel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's that. I mean, and also I've said this before. I hit a certain age, and I thought, right, that's it. Life is not a rehearsal.
Mm.
We're running out of time. Let's do as much as we can. And as you said, we work with TMO.
Yeah.
We're so.
By the way, I like your teal. I like your teal paint background. Is that a room I've not been in, or is that the living room's been repainted?
No, it's the living room. When you popped in, you just went in and out.
There we go.
It's a nice wall. I like the stuff on it hanging
What
on.
we got?
What is that? 16th of August, 2019.
There we go.
I did actually guess that. I did actually guess that.
It was our 5th wedding anniversary last month.
Wow, happy anniversary.
Yeah, very lucky. And I mean, I could also say I'm very good at managing my own time.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff.
And I work all hours and silly hours and vanish. When I should be downstairs playing, I'll be doing a bit playing with my daughter. I'll just run
We were chatting
upstairs.
earlier, Andy, and I'm thinking maybe it's given me a notion that maybe we do a technical show sometime where basically we can edit it in terms of here's how you set up pages, here's how you do working with lettering. It's something, Mark, that maybe and I will discuss and see if we can get one of those bundled together.
I think that's a good idea. These shows don't have to only be for promoting. We can do other things.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a very good topic.
Great stuff. Well, guys, I mean, thanks so much for your time as well. Do appreciate it. We are all really, really busy, which is just great. Dave, I know you've literally got off like a week of doing extremely long days and nights, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, all sorts. Yeah, you name it. Yeah. And literally on Friday, I'm going to finish work at 8 o'clock and be on at 7:30. So
exactly.
Just bear with the grey phantom. I may look rather grey.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. So really looking forward to that. And
that's brilliant.
Housekeeping?
Yeah, sure. So you need your 77 magazines, comics, books in your life. You need to go to the 77comic.net. Find us on Facebook if you like 2000 AD. It's the 77 to 2000 AD group. Dave's got a Haunted group. Andy Richmond will tell himself about Richmond Press and all of his other things in just a moment. But yeah, the Kickstarter, all the details will be linked here. If you're watching the Kickstarter right now and you want to know what's available, don't leave it too long. It's only a 2.5 week Kickstarter. And see you next time, guys.
I'll do my housekeeping. Definitely, if you like this show and you are into science fiction in general, listen to my show called MarkWHO77's Universe. It covers all of science fiction. A lot of times it's Doctor Who. You can find it on MarkWHO42.com, on Apple Podcasts, all around the interweb thingy, Audible, we're everywhere. You can also listen to past shows. We've been around since 2012, and we've had hundreds and hundreds. We're on like episode 381 at this point. But for the first 200 shows, we had a lot of interviews of Doctor Who celebrities, Star Trek celebrities, Babylon 5, Tron. We had some great things. If you go to YouTube, you can find it there. Go to the MarkWHO42's Universe channel, and then one of the playlists is classic episodes, and we've got over 100 or so episodes that have interviews on them. You'll enjoy those. Definitely go to our MarkWHO42's Universe Facebook page. My God, I've never actually mentioned the Facebook page on MarkWHO77. Go there because see, they've got 25,000 and yay. I've got like 5,000. So let's build on that. Let's build MarkWHO42's Universe up so we can get up there. And also, totally forgot to mention this, and we totally should. If you're enjoying this episode, if you really are, then look it down here below my head, and you will see where the YouTube like and subscribe are. Like and subscribe to MarkWHO77 and the 77 Publications, because that's what the page is, 77 Publications. You can definitely like, subscribe, and we appreciate all of that. Isn't that right, Ben?
Oh, always.
Yeah. Do we want to let the peanut gallery do final thoughts? And so Andrew, what else is coming up for you?
So I've got Penny Pentagram 2.
Hmm.
We've also got Haunted 4 that
Right.
Dave and I will be slaving over. Apparently for the next, what, we got 3.5 days on it, Dave, did you say? We sent it to print. So we got a couple of weeks on that. We've got Penny Pentagram 2, then we're going to go straight into LOLs 2 and hopefully get that out when we've discussed it.
And then you get a day off for Christmas.
Then you get well,
Well,
you
you don't
know,
get Boxing Day off? No, 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 no. They should get 2 days. Give them a second day.
we get one piece of coal, a little piece of coal
Mm. Okay.
with a 77 ribbon on it. It's thrown through the window. Yeah, the ribbon's expensive, my wife just said. You just get the coal. In fact, you don't get a coal, you get a piece of black stone.
There you go.
Or is that alluding to Dickens?
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Grey Phantom's heart. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the heart of the great thing.
Yeah,
So
swinging brick.
And
did-
then David Thomas and I are always talking. We've got, I mean, the stuff that we're going to be cramming, hopefully putting into Penny Pentagram 2 is unprecedented. I mean, I think I might have mentioned this before, but the band that's in it are going to be my daughters.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the
I wanted
band,
to mention that,
there's
yeah.
a gig, Penny Pentagram 2, which is going to be 4 pages that we're going to do as a gig.
Wow.
You want to
But,
use a
yeah.
QR code or a link to be able to get to the audio
Right,
track
right. We want to do that
on
because we
Apple.
talked about that.
Apple
Yeah.
What about
Sounds,
to say? And we're hopefully going to put the songs together.
Cool.
My daughter's we're going to somehow create something and then have the QR code and have it to various things.
Okay, so in 2025, 77 and Richmond Press Publishing are going to go into the music biz. That's great. I love it. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? And maybe my daughters are getting a bit old now. My middle one's going to be 21 next month.
Mm.
So that's probably geriatric for gigs. Yeah.
Right, Dave, do you want to talk about your kids for,
Well, yeah, my oldest is doing a drumming degree at the moment, so she can join him. So she's 21 in January,
There you go.
and she fortunately she's not the drummer from hell. She's all right. So, but my youngest is the inspiration for Vicky von Frankenstein. So
Right.
she is a mad scientist, and she will be appearing in issue 2 of LOLs, Vicky van Frankenstein, with along with art by Mike Walters and colouring saved by Andy Richmond as well at the last minute, which was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Going back to what we were saying earlier about having to turn things around. Yeah. No, it's all good fun.
All right. I think we're done. I think we have hit episode 19 of MarkWHO77. I think was a success. Are we on episode 19 or 18? I get
One of them.
confused because we had that two-parter episode.
Richie Mathwin, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of messes up my numbering. But definitely, I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank Dave and Andrew for coming on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's been brilliant as always.
We miss you,
Fine.
Vicky. We miss you, Vicky. You'll be on
Absolutely,
again.
Vicky.
She'll be back on next show. She's enjoying the mouse. And Ben, the publisher of 77 Publishing, and my co-host. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody.
All right, well, so come back next time and stay lucky, guys. Bye.
Bye now. See ya.